What's up, everybody? I am back again with another video. It is early on a Saturday morning, um, and I just had this in my spirit, simmering in my spirit. A topic that I just wanted to talk about, and I hope everybody has been doing well, drinking their water, exercising, taking care of yourself, eating right, eating well, healthier foods, more veggies, and drinking your water and taking care of yourself. I wanted to get on here because yesterday, excuse me, my allergies always drain in the morning. So if you hear me clearing my throat, I apologize. But I just wanted to get on here and talk about something that I really have kind of steered clear from talking about. But now I feel like it's something that I really want to and need to address. Dating, relationships. Dun, 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 dun. So, and what got me to wanting to talk about this is yesterday, this young man or this man, he's not young, he's my age, Gen Xer here, and he got on Facebook and he made this post. Now, first of all, this man, I am a saved person, a Christian, a believer. So this man also is a believer, saved, as we say. And so he got on there, he made this post, and he was like, basically, that when we're younger, I guess whoever he was dealing with, the women who were younger, when they were younger, they chose thugs, and they chose men that were thugs, as that's what he put it as. And then they had children by said thugs. And then as they got older, now they want to double back and come back around and get the good guy, and want the good guy or the man to be submissive to them. And so, and then he said, well, basically he was in the mindset of like that a woman isn't, their past. What I gather from his posts, and this is, what he was saying, is that basically women or anybody in general isn't, because of their past mistakes, like they aren't worthy of someone that is decent or someone that will love them, real love. So of course I commented, and I kind of refrained from commenting on people's posts, because I'm like, if that's how you feeling, that's how you feeling. I don't want to take that away from anyone. And so, but I did comment, and I just basically, you just said that, just because we are not our mistakes. We are not our mistakes. And just because someone chose from a place of immaturity, of lack of wisdom, or just, it could be childhood trauma that we made choices of who we were with, does not mean that later on in life, after they've done the work on themselves, after they've matured, after they've grown, that they don't deserve love, and that they can't expect to get treated differently or to choose differently. And so, I don't think he really liked my response, because he just came on and it was just like, okay. And then someone else came behind me and basically wrapped that thing on up and said exactly what I said and added their spin to it. And I believe he was a little more receptive to what they said, which I was like, whatever. Long story short, I ended up unfriending him, because I don't have time for people who even think like that, number one. And the fact that y'all women, that's how he addressed it. Y'all women when y'all younger, y'all pick the thugs when y'all are younger, and then when y'all have kids with them, and then when you guys are older, then you want to double back and get the quote unquote good guy or whatever, that you want to look for somebody that'll treat you good. And like I said, I responded, and I did say, because it's both men and women have been doing that. Let's just be honest. Let's keep it real, because men did the same thing. They went after the girls with the not the good shape, but the shapelier girls, or the popular girls. They went after those type of women, and it didn't always work out. But most of us have grown and matured, and so why not expect better for yourself? Why not expect to be treated better? Why not expect to get what you deserve? And I just wanted to address, and I've seen so much online, especially for our age, Gen Xers, let's in the building. I've seen so much online about dating and how hard it is for dating, and I don't know what the deal is with it. I've heard so many horror stories from both sides about dating, and it's like, well, what is really going on? What are we not communicating? Did we lose what we were raised on? What are we what is going on? And I've noticed that a lot of people, and in particular men, and I'm not trying to drag or dog men out in any type of way, but I just noticed, this is what I've seen. And I've noticed that some men they've adopted this kind of red pill, blue pill foolology is what I call it, because it's foolishness. And to me, it's like, what is the deal here? What can we go back to the days of yay and nay with dating? Why does everything have to be so complicated? Why? You pay, I pay. Can we just communicate and be adults and be mature about this thing? I would expect certain behaviors from the younger generation, but it is up to us to show them, to be the example for them. And I feel like we are losing that example, getting caught up in this red pill, blue pill mess. And it's just so causing so much division between us, because it always seems to come out as men against the women, and men are mad at women, and women are mad at men, and nobody is getting anywhere here. So it's, and for me, I don't like to take pills, okay? Red or blue, I don't like to take pills. I'm in my own lane and whatsoever. But I just, for me, when it came to dating, and I'm going to share a little bit because this is my story. And so, when I dated someone, and it brought back to the memory of how I gave a lot of myself. I gave a lot. And I'm not saying that I was perfect by any means, but I was a good woman. I was a good woman to the men that I chose, to be in my life. And the behaviors that I received from those people, especially when I loved them, I supported them, I was loyal to them, I just remember me personally, I was dating someone, and I walked through, this person got a diagnosis that wasn't, it wasn't a bad diagnosis, and I was there for them through the entire diagnosis, through the entire, all of the surgeries, all of the things. And what I got in return, in the end of that, as that relationship was ending, what I received in return was not fair. It was wrong. It was on all levels. And I'm not going to go into a great detail, but I was devastated. I was hurt by the way this person just treated me like I was nothing, like I've never meant anything. Like I was a stranger on the street after I had walked through, and I didn't do it for accolades. I didn't do it for anything other than to be a friend, okay, and to be friendly. And so I was crushed, and that's not the first time that I had been crushed. I was absolutely crushed and devastated. So, just walking through that and going through that, I've learned so much. Going through the different relationships, there have been many times that I've given myself in a friendly way and given loyalty and given the utmost respect and faithfulness and all of the things, just being myself, and then just wanting to be a friend, because I feel like that is the foundation. That should be the foundation of all healthy relationships, is building the friendship and building a friendship. Because if I call you friend, I don't want to see my friends hurt. I'm not going to do anything to hurt you intentionally, because I'm calling you friend. And I'm looking at you as my friend, not just someone that I'm dating. I'm looking at you as my friend. So I did that in those relationships, and I ended up getting crushed all the time. This is just my personal experience. And it was hurtful. You put yourself out there and you're hoping for the best and you end up getting the worst. And I will say this, I didn't choose thugs. I didn't go out there looking for the bad boy, the bad guy, or whatever this man that made that post was posting about. These sometimes were people in church, people I grew up with, that I dated. And it just, just plain and simple. I'm just going to keep it real. It was some trifling crap. So I just feel like we need to do better. We have to find some sort of common ground to do better in our relationships, because nobody is getting anywhere. Everybody is saying they want to be with somebody, but they don't. It's so hard and challenging, and with all of the rules and regulations and the 10 things that you need to do here and the 11 things that you need to do over here and the 20 things that you need to, it just becomes overwhelming. And I am a person, and I think I speak for a lot of people, that simplicity, I like simplicity and for things to be simple. Why do we have to overcomplicate dating? Why? If you like somebody, okay, let's find out if we can go somewhere. We don't have to throw our whole self in at the very beginning. We shouldn't do that. We should be using wisdom and walking in wisdom and discernment. And just be honest and truthful and upfront. Okay, if you're not looking for something that someone else may be looking for, then let's get that out there, so that we're not wasting each other's time. Because a lot of us, especially Gen Xers, we have more time behind us than we have in front of us. We don't have time for a bunch of foolery and a bunch of nonsense. And like I said, just be honest, communicate, and we're adults. What you think we gonna do? Beat you up for not liking us? I mean, what are come on now. The majority of us are not on that type of stuff. We have we have too much to lose. We don't have a lot of game. We not coming key in your car. I'm a majority of us. Now there are some that do that, but be wise in who you watch, watch who watch how they are, and pay attention to how they are. Use discernment and use your wisdom and the things that you've learned along your journey of life. I'm not saying to be fearful, but be careful and be safe above all things. And so, yeah, I just wanted to come on here and say that little piece, that we have got to do better in relationships and loving on one another, and realizing that, because a part of what that post also told me is that sometimes people will try to put their value on, they say they value someone. And I made this as a post because the young lady that responded, she said this, and she said basically that you say you value someone, but then you you try to put your price on someone as to how they should be loved, or how they should be, what they deserve in their life based on their past. That doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't. And especially as someone who is saying that they are a believer in Jesus Christ, what is going on here? Like, there's a whole nother dynamic. When you say you're a believer in Jesus Christ, then there's a whole nother dynamic. We're brothers and sisters in Christ, so you should be treating me accordingly. That's a whole nother dynamic to the relationship now. And a lot of, like, you shouldn't be thinking of me because of my past. Like, if you see that I'm a good person, I've done the work, and a lot of women have done, a lot of men and women, let me say that, have done the work, I would say what I've seen, let me just say this, it's more women that have done the work to, went to therapy and gotten themselves better, and, are healing and healed and all of the things, whereas some of these men are sitting in very bitter places. And he sounded like a very bitter man. Let's just call a thing a thing. So I just don't want to keep you long. It's already been like a little bit over 15 minutes. And so I just wanted to say that let's do better in our relationships and dating, and stop embracing this immature rhetoric and narrative that is being put out there by the young people. Let's do better. We are I ain't gonna call us elders, because, child, I don't want to be called an elder, but we are the seasoned, we know better. You know what I'm saying? We know better. We know what it really is. Let's not be overtaken by the foolishness. So I just wanted to say that, and I hope everybody will continue to take care of yourself, continue to drink your water, continue to eat good foods, continue to take care of yourself, get your checkups, get your exams, whatever that looks like for you. Smile and continue to be the best versions of yourself that God created you to be. Peace.